Hey everyone, today in this video, I'm going to be checking out the Lexar ARES DDR5 RGB RAM. Lexar did send me the sample, but any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you're interested in this product or you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. There's multiple capacities and speeds available. We have the 32GB kit here with two 16GB sticks, 6400 megahertz for our speed. Now let's go ahead, let's open it up and see what's inside. Inside you'll find two identical sticks of RAM, nothing else in the box, no product literature or anything like that. Take a look at the RAM here. We got the ARES logo and branding up at the top. RGB diffusion right there. Get a feel for the side profile. Here's a look at the back side with our product info there. You can see the pins. See all of that up close. There's the other side. And then again, they're identical to each other. So there's a look at both sticks. Now let's go ahead, let's get them installed and try them out. All right, so we have our RAM installed right here on our test bench. They look great. Love the glow of the RGB. Again, that diffusion is all over the top of both sticks of RAM, providing a nice glow that's very even and soft all throughout. Now, let's look at our BIOS settings. So currently, by default right here, we got to get our faster speeds. So currently our system's using 5600 megahertz RAM. That was the speed of the RAM I swapped out. But in this case, we want to make sure that we toggle on our XMP profile here. So if we go ahead and select that, we'll go down to our memory section here, and you'll see the profile 1 by default that we're going to use with the correct timings for this RAM. 6400 megahertz, that is what is advertised. And if you're wondering, 1.4 volts right there. Now let's go ahead, let's save these settings, exit out, and boot into Windows. All right, we've booted into Windows. I have Task Manager pulled up. We have our 32GB right there. And our speed is accurate down here at the bottom, 6400 megahertz. Now let's go ahead and benchmark it. So how does it stack up against the competition? We'll be comparing it to the average totals of all the DDR5 that we personally tested. And I went ahead, I threw in the values of Lexar's Thor RAM. It's not going to be at the same speed, but it was going to be the second best performing RAM that we've tested from them, just so you can have another perspective within Lexar's own lineup. So first, when we look at the cost, very, very affordable. It's going to be below average. And we can break that cost down further as in cost per gigabyte, $3.4 per gigabyte compared to $3.1 for Thor and $3.9 for your typical DDR5 RAM. Next, we're looking at speed. This is some of the fastest RAM that we've tested, 6400 megahertz compared to 6000 for Thor and 5750 for your average typical DDR5 speeds. Next, let's take a look at voltage. You guessed it, this is measured in volts. When we're looking at volts, the data here really just shows you that the lower the value, the less power and less heat your RAM is using and emitting. So 1.4 volts for the ARES RAM. The average is going to be about 1.29. Next, we have our CAS latency. This is measured in clock cycles. A lower CAS and higher frequency usually equals better performance when it comes to RAM. So 32 is our score for this RAM. It matches the Thor RAM as well. The average for DDR5 that we've tested is about 34. Next up, we have our NovaBench RAM score. Our ARES is about 20 points above the average and about 10 points above the Thor RAM. Next, within NovaBench, we have our RAM speed. This is measured in megabytes per second. So 23,800 for our ARES RAM. The average is about 21,700, so a nice bump in performance. And you'll see that the Thor RAM fits nicely in the middle. Same thing can be said for the NovaBench latency. This is measured in nanoseconds, 68 nanoseconds for the ARES, 70 for the Thor, and 74 for your typical average DDR5. Moving right along to AIDA64, this is the read speed measured in megabytes per second, 101,100 for our ARES RAM. The average RAM DDR5 is going to be about 94,400, and our Thor squeaks just a little bit higher than the average. Now looking at our AIDA64 write speeds, 87,100 for our ARES RAM. The average is going to be about 82,700, and same thing, Thor is squeaking a little bit higher than the typical average. AIDA64 copy showing a very similar thing here. $89,000 for our Ares RAM, $85,400 for the typical average, and Thor is going to be a little bit above that. IDA64 latency in nanoseconds, 68.8 nanoseconds for our Ares RAM, 70.8 for our Thor RAM, and 73.7 for our average typical RAM. So where's that leave us in regards to this Lexar Ares RAM? Let me share with you my final thoughts. First up, if you're looking for top-notch, fast, reliable RAM from Lexar, look no further. This is going to be the RAM for you. If for some reason it's too fast for you, or you're really pinching pennies and you want some slower DDR5, don't worry. They have multiple variations of this Ares RAM. Off the top of my head, I know they have a 6,000 megahertz option and a 5,200 megahertz option. I do want to point out, though, if you're going that route, you might want to check on the Thor RAM that we mentioned earlier. It doesn't have RGB, but it's going to be more affordable and give you really good performance still, as you could see from our video here. But overall, RGB is nice. I like the aesthetic of it. It looks great. It's not too large either, which is important depending on your build and the cooler choice that you're going to use. So overall, it's been very fast, reliable, and a good value.